Okay, we are gonna start weaving today. So what you're gonna do is you have your paper plate right here, and the first thing you need to do is put your name on the back of it, and then flip it to the front to where it's like a curved up like a normal plate, so your name goes on the back of it. Okay, you have neon oil pastels. I think the brighter colors look cool. If you just want to use regular oil pastels, that's fine too. And you're just making kind of like a circle design. It doesn't have to be anything specific, or really like it doesn't even have to be perfect. And I'll be honest, the center part of your circle will most likely be covered up anyway. So what I'm saying is don't try to get this to be some amazing perfect design, because a lot of it will be covered up. But I do want to add color. Just make sure there's no white spaces, so you guys can fill it all the way out. I would fill it all the way out until this texture starts. So kind of where those lines start, that's where I would stop doing your design, all the way out to this edge right here. Okay, so I finished most of my center of the plate, and what you can do, I know I said not to do anything. You can add stuff at the edge. We're just gonna use scissors later and make cuts around the edge, so don't get too detailed like I said, but if you want, you can do like straight lines that are going out just to add some color on the edges. But you also don't have to, but you do have to make sure you go out until that texture on the plate starts. For the weaving part, you're gonna clear off your desk. You're gonna get a template that has these little notches right here. It's labeled template, so you don't get confused with your own. And you're gonna flip it over to the front where it's laying down. So I'm gonna stick my template on top, and where those little notches are, I'm gonna take my pencil and make a line. Let me zoom in. Make a line where those notches are. Okay, so I have these lines right here, and I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut down until that texture starts right here. So on my line, that's just a shadow right here. I'm gonna start on this Sharpie line, and I'm gonna cut all the way down and stop right there on every single notch. These will come forward and you have those cuts, okay? And you need a starting piece of string. So for your starting string, it's either gonna be gray or black. It's whatever we have out. It doesn't really matter the color because you're not necessarily gonna see it though. So flip it over to the back, and that's where you're gonna start. And I'm gonna tape it down to the center-ish, just so that it stays put. And then I'm putting that string into my first notch. Okay, so you should see your string on the front now. Okay, it should be coming through one of the notches that we cut. And you are gonna go to the right, and you're gonna count your notches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 6th notch, that's where you're gonna put your string, so that now you see it coming out the back. Okay, once your string is on the back, you're gonna go to the neighbor's house on the right, okay? So I'm gonna take my string and I'm just gonna go over one notch, and bring it to the front, okay? Then I'm gonna cross the street to make an X, but I wanna make a thin X so that I go to the thinnest notch right here. And then I'm gonna flip it to the back, go to the neighbor's house to the right again, flip it to the front, make an X, flip it over, go to the neighbor's house. Now that I have it in the front, I'm gonna make an X again, put it in that notch, flip it to the back, go to the right. Gonna keep doing this process until you get to this point right here. You have one more notch left and your string is in the back. Once you have one more notch left and your string is in the back, you're gonna go one more time to the right so that your back, look, it has these dashes. Instead of strings going all over the place, your back should be nice and clean, okay? The front is where all the X's go, okay? When your string is in the front, you actually can take this end of your string and start weaving. Okay, it doesn't matter which way you start weaving. I'm gonna go to the right just because we've already been weaving to the right, and you always start under. Okay, so I put my string under this loom right here, and then I'm gonna go over, and then under, over, under. Gonna pull it through, and then I'm just gonna keep going. So that kind of, when you pull it tight, you don't want to pull it too tight to where your paper is bending, but you want it tight enough so that whenever you do pull it tight, the center goes right to the middle, okay? Because if you noticed before, my center was a little bit off, and yours was probably too. But once you start weaving and you pull that first knot pretty tight, it will center out. And I'm just gonna keep going. So I left off, I need to go over this one, under, over. So you can add on a string two different ways. You're basically tying the two ends together. The first kind is that you can make an X, tuck one under, kind of like you're tying your shoes, and attach them together that way. Or I'm going to go ahead and add on another string so I can show you the second way, is you lay them next to each other like this. You wrap them around your finger one time so that you have a loop, and then you push both of the strings through. This is the better knot. These will hold better than the first one that I did, but they both work because you're not really supposed to be pulling hard anyway. Before you start weaving, you're just gonna trim the little bunny ears. And then you can just keep on weaving because now I have a longer string.